Da 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 da. Let's do this. Let's start with a new character. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Let's go down. Dun dun dun. Who do we want to go? Choices. Choices. What we got? Galente. The Federation is a beacon of democracy and liberty in the chaos of New Eden. Minotaur. We will free all our people from the bounds of slavery to fight for anything less. Wait, what? To fight for anything less is to betray the Republic. Hmm. Our mighty empire is built upon our faith in the Creator and loyalty to the throne. Authoritarian there. In our Kaldari state, wealth and power comes only from loyalty to the corporation. I think I'm going to go with Minotaur. Dun dun dun. Different ships here. You have the different ships. High-tech frigate designed to disrupt electronic systems and weapons on other ships. A Reaper, new pilot's first ship, which can be utilized for basic mining, combat, and exploration. A cargo vessel used to transport large volumes of goods across the universe. A specialized frigate designed for scouting and exploration. The Tempest, a powerful, flexible battleship commonly seen in Minotaur combat fleets. Here we go. Minotaur Republic technology. We use hit and run tactics and fight when outnumbered. Our vessels are fast and light, allowing us to effectively control engagements. When properly trained, our pilots are capable of flying any ship in the cluster, regardless of its originate, ori- originating empire. Man, my dyslexia really shows. So we use projectile weapons and shield tanking. Hmm. So be missiles, I'm guessing. Oh, auto cannon, artillery, and active shield tanking allows us to rapidly return to battle while maintaining speed and agility. Minotaur Republic. After centuries of subjugation, we rose up and cast off our slavers' shackles. My reading's terrible. Yay. So, Empire enemy and pirate enemy. So we are an enemy to Amar, the Amarians, and to the Angel Cartel. Is a dangerous and unpredictable foe heavily involved in human trafficking, slavery, and the drugs trade. Or to come pay them a visit. See if we can score some, I'm never really. We have Wesley Snipes here. Almost like a younger version. Let's do that. So I'm not going to customize a character at all, but we do have lots of settings that we can definitely play around with. We have gender, random appearance. Oh, let's put your clothing back on. A naked pilot might not be a good idea. Well, you're in space, who really cares? Tattoos or anything? Nah. Choose your education. Hmm. I would like to be a space monkey. I can't be a space monkey, why not? Institute of Exploration Players is known for its pioneering research in the field of astronaut. I can't. I can't. But looking at it, it is ISK, Center of Combat Studies. Mm. And Industry Division Partner Tech School. So, technology, military, or finance, I'm assuming. Hmm. We'll go for military. Alright. Choose your name. Hmm. What shall we call ourselves? I want to say Bob, but it's a very generic name. Bob. Randomize. See what it generates. Engomon Heckard? Yeah, we'll go with that. So, character created, Minotaur. Do I want to do the tutorial? Now, I've already played the game, so I should skip the tutorial for the ease of myself, but I think we shall go through the tutorial. No. I don't know. Maybe. Dun dun dun. So I'm going to skip this. Just because I don't want to do too much of it in case copyright's a thing, but... Oh no. That was nice of you. Okay. Why do I not feel insured or arrested? So, looking about with left click and wheel to zoom in and out. Quite standard game controls, I would say. Oh no. I have no arms. Okay. Quick. I would like to get in the ship. Our first ship. Dun dun dun. I can see that. Oh, 1% shield, 67% armor, and 100% structure. So we're actually not bad. Mm-hmm. Mm, I wouldn't say so. Yay. Are they going to do anything cool for us? We have emergency coordinates. Excellent. And okay, so we have an overview. Now again, I played this before. We'll get into the overview a bit later on. But for the moment, we've got general. We have targets, which we don't have any at the moment. We have mining. We have warp 2, but again, this is a tutorial, so there's nowhere really to warp to, although it would be nice if they allowed you to warp to the commander, but it's only 15 kilometers away, which isn't far. And then we have all, which shows all of the airships that are in this area at the moment. So that's one's. Yes, we know. So we click there, we click approach, or we can use Q on the keyboard. I thank you. That would be lovely. No. And ooh. So again, this is a tutorial, just the basic controls. Later on, once we get out the tutorial, we can rearrange and customize the UI to our own liking. But for the moment, we'll just keep going. We're entering warp formation. Ooh. Don't like being that close to my ship. So we've all aligned to wherever we're going. Which, when you get into corporations and things later on in the game, this is how you will actually warp with big fleets. For example, There is an Orca, and that is quite an expensive ship to fly. It's also a mining ship, an industrial mining ship. Okay, so a ship like the Orca will take you a while to skill into, but we'll cover skills and things a little bit later on. Bowheads as well. I've forgotten. Can't say it. These are all reasonably powerful ships in their own right. Anyway, continuing on. So every ship does have a warp signature. The lower the signature, the less likely you are to be scanned down. We'll get into that a bit later on. Why? I want them now. Okay, let's go and have a nosy. We click on the anomaly, we click on approach, and away we go. We're just chugging through space. Down the bottom here, you can see your speed. So we see we're traveling at 344 meters a second. Getting a lovely view of that fleet. They are some pretty big ships. The Bullhead, if I mind right, is it's a cargo ship for fully built ships, I think. Oh no, I don't have any cannons or guns or anything. Okay, so we're going to orbit, which is W on the keyboard. They're coming back to finish the job. Nah, what we don't use, guys. Ooh, will it? Okay, well I need guns. I don't have any guns or cannons. Select in the overview. We're going to orbit the ship. There we go. Yes, we do. We have a 1mm micro warp drive. So we can click that. And you'll notice our speed is increasing. And we target, orbit. It won't let me fire. Are we orbiting? Okay, we're in range. We can use the stasis webifier, which slows down the ship. And any minute now. Ew. Okay, let's go and we shall orbit it. I'm going to pop EMC. So we're jamming it now, just to make it a little bit harder for it. I need to look at my own ship so I can right. Oh, can't right click, we're still in demo. So, locking target. Orbit. Activate the webifier. I'm going to jam them and then fire. Now, of course, this is a tutorial, so there is quite a bit missing, which we will see later. So, the capacitor is keeping up with all of these modules running, but you do need to worry about this later on in the game. If you don't have capacitor, you don't have the ability to use your modules. So shields are holding. You see the enemy up here, their shields and armor. We're down to structure. A wee bit more and we were good. So turn the other modules off. We most likely won't survive that. Let's go on a suicide mission. Okay, let's be a suicider then. So, select the battleship. We shall orbit it. We are already locked on. We win. I'm. Oh, we are taking lots of heavy fire. Excellent. What about the 1%? Can we break it? So you can see we're being warp scrambled by 2 battleships and stasis webified by both battleships. Death is inevitable, as in you cannot eat it. Structure integrity. We go boom. So now we're in our capsule. And they're not going to give up. Is that life or death? Because I'm not sure. So we were murdered and we come back in another capsule. In a station. Not sure where we are on the map. Miniature space. Yeah, I would like a ship. That would be cool. The one I had was awesome. I would hope so. So, again, I've already played this, so I know what the Neocom is and what we can access from it. Them are career programs, but we're going to follow through the next wee while. We have skills and training. I don't know if it'll let me access it yet. It does. So opened up a wee bit more now. We have the agency where we can find tasks and things. Again, all of this will most likely take us through it again. Opportunities is a recently new thing to EVE. You discover opportunities obviously for combat or mining or industry. We have mail, inventory. I don't think we'll have anything in inventory. We have we have a Reaper waiting. So I'm just going to change this because personally myself. Okay, I can't do anything at the moment. We have personal assets, so this comes in really handy because you will be all over the universe, space, different areas, and this comes in really handy. ISK, I'm just going to move that to the top. This is how much in-game currency we have. We have regional market, ship tree, which I don't know is opening. So in the ship tree we have all our different fractions, and we have all our different tiers. So we can only fly. We can only fly the ones that are lit up. So we have a slasher, probe, rifter, veil, burst, breacher, the reaper that we're ready to jump in. We have a shuttle as well. These are paywalls, so we're locked out of them. I'm not going to be paying for this character. I pay for enough characters as it is at the moment. And we have fitting. We'll get into that in a minute. We have the map. Again, I would like floating. The reason I do floating is because I can double click on the bar, and not all windows, some windows will shrink down to just the bar. So this is where we are, and this is the whole map of New Eden. So we can see all the different areas and all the different fractions. So over here, as you can see, we're Minotaur, so it's Minotaur space, if you like. We can see we have a couple of Amar Empire, so some fun in there. Down here, we have more Amar Empire. There's Kildari up here. Kildari State. And all of this space around here is what we class as nilsec. The reason for that is because it has a minus status. -2, which is essentially the game difficulty, but we'll get into that later. So we have Project Discovery. I'm not going to go into that one. That's a little side game essentially. New Eden Help or Eve Help. We have channels. Now chat channels are very useful. I don't have them open at the moment, so we'll continue on and click on Yay!
I will enable your station services panel so that you may board the ship provided to you by air.
How can I board it by air if I'm in space?
Try not to blow this one up so quickly, but if you do, you can acquire a new Corvette at any station.
So, the Corvette is just basically.
Your next adventure will hopefully prove less explosive. We have a lead on the attack on the cloning facility, and we want you to follow up on it. We've debriefed the civilians you saved, and have learned that moments before the attack, they lost contact with one of our research facilities. That facility is in orbit around this solar system's sun. What do you say? Up for a little reconnaissance?
Yeah, I'm up for going and shooting some stuff.
Certainly, Miss Calatrix. I am sure we are just as curious as you about what happened. Excellent. It could just be solar radiation blocking their comms, but I wouldn't bet on it. Fly out to the sun, investigate, and report back on whatever is going on. You may undock and begin your journey whenever you are ready, Captain.
Understood. So I'm just gonna wiggle some things around here. Still missing some elements. You see opportunities come up and tell me what to do, where I'm going. So I want to go to fitting. And this is the ship fit window. So we have one civilian Gatling autocannon. It does 3 kinetic damage and 4 explosive damage. We have a civilian miner, it's quite handy. We have a 1 Newton nanometer, a civilian afterburner, basically. On this side, we have the stats of the ship. So we have our capacitor, our offense, so we're doing 4 damage per second. Our defense, we can see that we don't have any EM defense. Our strongest defense is explosive, then kinetic, then thermal. And when it comes down to our armor, we do have some EM. It sort of swaps around, as you notice. 50, 40, 20, 0, 60, 35, 25, 10. So it switches around. And our structure is basically 33 all around. Targeting, our maximum target range is 24 kilometers, that's handy. Now, scan resolution, maximum lock targets, we can only lock 3. Sensor strength, and signature radius. So the smaller this is, the less likely we're able to be found. Some navigation stuff, how fast we can go. We don't have any drones yet. I think we can fit maybe 1 drone in this. And we'll get onto this side a bit later on. So, it's a very basic fitting window. You can check fits, because fits are really important in this game. So you can click simulate, and you can play around, remove the modules, and you can add, and click on modules. This just allows you to select only the ship that you're in at the moment, so filters by hull restrictions. And then from there you can select whatever modules you want, and you will see these stats change. So you can build your own custom fits, but as it says, we'll get into that a little bit later. So let's undock. In our first ship, We are in docking and flying in space.
You can navigate a solar system by warping to celestial objects and other locations using your overview. Select the sun in your overview and then warp to it.
So, right click. It doesn't work yet, but it will in a minute, or once it's completed the tutorial. So we're getting some bonuses here. Republic Warpath Pride. So we're getting plus 7.5% on projectile turn fall off bonus, maximum velocity and warp speed. But we're warping to the sun. So off we pop. Warping in my spaceship.
Luminosity considerably above retina destroying levels. Polarizing filters compensating.
Not finding any targets.
It seems safe to conclude that the problem was not just blocked comms. Abnormal gravitational waves are emanating from the wreckage. Their source must have been exceptionally powerful for them to be so prominent despite the sun's own gravitational field. There are multiple wrecked ships among the debris. You can loot them to investigate their contents.
Ooh, let's go and loot some stuff. They come up in general. There we go. So we'll start with the 114. Very much like to orbit it. It's 12k. I'm just going to click on my micro warp drive, or my afterburner, sorry. And click it off again. And we shall have that.
There are no asteroids to mine in the Slipper module. Has been placed inside your item. We can return to the station whenever you are ready, Captain.
I'm going to go and loot the other ones as well. Maybe this one and then this one here on the left. Civilian miner. I'll have that. And the last one. What are we getting? Another civilian miner. We're going over to this one. Slow boating through the universe. Another miner. 3 civilian miners. So I am just going to quickly do something. Because I have this turned down quite a bit. Okay, so it's not going to allow me to. There we go. Return back to game. So now you see it in its full glory. as the ship changes, the shadows changing. This is full graphics. So, we have looked at these. It's now time to dock. So you can change graphics on the fly if your card struggles to play the game. Um, the more people there is in a system, the more heavy the game will get. I will say that. Docking, docking, docking.
Welcome back. So, what did you discover?
Nothing. We discovered that stuff went pop, some stuff that we could steal, and that's about it.
I'm afraid the research site has suffered the same fate as the clone facility. This time, however, the wreckage was surrounded by abnormal gravitational waves. That's not something you need to concern yourself with.
That sounds suspicious.
Ms. Canatrix, you did ask us to report whatever was going on. It would be remiss of me if I did not note that these readings are quite unusual. Yes, well, you've reported it, and I have told you that it is not pertinent to this investigation. Did you find anything else?
So her attitude changed quite quickly.
There were a number of wrecked air vessels at the site. We recovered this mining module from one of them.
We did
Mining module?
three of
That
them.
cannot be a coincidence. We've just been contacted by one of our agents stationed at a nearby mining site. They've picked up a strange signal but have been unable to locate its source.
Hmm.
We need to find out if there's any connection between this signal and the attacks. You'll need to investigate, but undercover this time. If there is a link, we can't let whoever is behind all this know that we're onto them. Fit the mining module we recovered to your ship. That way we'll look like just another member of the mining fleet.
Okie dokie.
Duly noted, Miss Canatrix. Captain, you can fit the module to your ship by accessing the fitting window from the Neocom.
Which we've briefly already had a look at.
Let's fit your new module in a free slot.
Well, we don't really. Oh, there we go.
Now, bring the module online.
So just press this on here.
It appears you do not currently possess the skill necessary to use this module. Hardly surprising. You still have much to learn.
I think that was a little unfair, but okay.
Please direct your attention to the icon on the display. You can add the missing skill to your training queue here.
So every ship and every module has its own requirements.
Access the skill window from the Neocom. Skills are essential for all Capsuleers in New Eden, as
Mm-hmm.
they serve as the primary measurement of one's growth. A more highly skilled pilot will be most formidable indeed.
So you get skill points as well. You get skill point bonuses, daily logins, and things like that. Various different things. You can see all the skills that are paywall locked. They come up with the Omega symbol, and you're capped to 5,000 skill points, if I remember correctly, with what is called an alpha account, which is what we are in at the moment. So I'm not going to use. I'm going to have to use, unless it gives me it for nothing.
Training a new skill takes time, as the neural pathways of your brain are rewired. Now, all you have to do is confirm that you wish to use those skill points.
So we can save those skill points and wait 1 hour and 6 minutes, which is probably a smarter thing to do, because your skill points will come in really, really handy for whatever ship or task you decide to do, but for the moment I'm just going to confirm and use the 1000 skill points. And confirm. Mm-hmm. That is a great strategy. A little bit of motivation there, I like it. Thank you for reminding me. So, in this skill plan, we have Repair Systems 1 and Repair Systems 2, taking about an hour and a half. Now, like I said before, you are limited to how many skill points you can have on an alpha account. So we'll follow. That's true. So the pre-built skill plans are, as you can see, Explorer, Enforcer, Industrial, and Soldier of Fortune. Now, as you can see, you get the four different federations. Federations, whatever you want to call them, fractions is what I'm meaning. So each one of these will have different skills. As you can see, skill plan. So we've got Infomorph, which is for jump clones. We'll get more into jump clones a bit later on. Social, we get 5% bonus for NPCs. Biology, 20% bonus to attribute booster duration. So we'll explain that one a bit later on. It's a really, really good one to have. But biology too as well. There is a skill plan called the Magic 13, which will cover all of the basic skills that you will need to fly all of the basic ships essentially. So if you look at the Minotaur Explorer, you see we've got things that are targeted towards scanning, hacking, so you can do data sites and relic sites where you can make reasonable ISK. Again, we'll have a look at them later on. Treasure Hunter. We see we've got Hacker again. And these are not paywall locked, which is good. You can use these for low end missions. Enforcer should be a bigger skill plan because you're taking into because it's Enforcer, you're taking in things like, where are we, Sharpshooter, Rapid Firing, Weapons Upgrade, Surgical Strike, Trajectory Analysis, things like that, which will come in good for combat. Industrialist is much more for obviously building ships, gathering resources. So we've got trade, marketing, spaceship command. I still don't have right click yet because you can right click and show information. Once we get through the tutorial we'll see that a bit better. So continuing on with the tutorial, but before I continue on with the tutorial actually, so these are the certified skill plans. So you'll notice the industrialist doesn't really cover a fraction, so to speak. But if you go to Explorer, you will see the different fractions, and each one will be just ever so slightly different, which is, to be expected. However, up here in the skills catalog, which we had seen earlier on, is where you can actually go look and tailor your skill plan You can queue, I think it's up to about a year's worth of skills. Um, but you can access each area and fine tune to whatever particular skill you need. So, for example, I don't have right click yet, but right click when it's available. We'll go into this a bit more. So, you have armor, kinetic, remote armor repair, capital ships. They're obviously payment walled and they will take forever. And I mean forever. Tier 4 or 5, I think, is like a 20-day train. So these do take time, a lot of time. There is ways to shorten it. You can increase your training speed, things like that. But for the moment, we're sticking to alpha. So electronic systems, signal suppression, weapon duration, disruption, sorry, that's your micro warp drives and things. Again, we'll see it. Here we go. So requirements, CPU management 3, required for tracking distributor guidance. So this is at stage 1, and it will show you the different stages. So these are drones that obviously disrupt signals and targeting, and so on. You'll get a brief description, you'll get the attributes, so intelligence and memory. These are for training. So if you want to really fine tune your training and make your training very pinpointed, and then you can actually change these. If you go up and click on your character sheet, so this is your character sheet. In your character sheet you have obviously your character, your current home station, your total skill points, your home station, your security status, so it will stay 0, or it will go up or down corresponding to how you interact in the game. If you go around killing everybody, you'll have a minus security status. If you start killing Minotaur, then your security status with Minotaur will fall, but we'll get into that in a minute because there's quite a bit in the character sheet that's quite useful to know. So it tells you the time and the date of when your character started. It tells you your total net worth. Interactions. Because we're with Minotaur Republic, it will tell us at the moment we have a 0-0 standing with Minotaur, and this is what was on about before with your security status. This will go up or down depending on your interaction with that particular faction, corporation, or so on and so forth. Kill rights. Kill rights are issued when someone kills you. You then have the kill right to kill them, which I believe you can execute in HiSec space. Combat log, again, new character, new flight, so we don't have anything yet. Pilot services is where you can buy Plex, Omega Time. There's basically paywall, is the easiest way to say this. Personalization, skins. There's loads of skins in this game. And pick one that takes your fancy if you can find it. Some of these skins are really rare. Some of them are just handed out, so to speak, and easy and simple to get. Alliance emblems, of course, you can pick a ship to put an emblem on, but we don't have any at the moment, and you can fly with your corporation emblem. And history just gives you a history of everything. So having a wee bit more in-depth look into the character. So we have our home station. We have augmentations, which is for implants and boosters. So if we jump into the market, just show you quickly if the market will open. So the market's not going to open, but you have 5 implant slots and I can't remember how many boosters you can do. Jump clones, we can't install any because we don't have the skill for jump clones. You can see skill requirement not net, but you need Infomorph. If I'm right in thinking, you can have 11 jump clones in total, which means you can leave a clone in a station all over the place. You can have like 5 or 6 clones scattered all over, so you can jump to that particular area. Quite handy, especially if you for like a resource sort of thing, because not all resources are found in one place. Attributes this is what I was trying to get to. You can remap them. So, for example, if you had a bunch of skills in train that required intelligence and memory, and you had a remapping available, you might remap it. But then you could also use an implant. Well, just so on and so forth. So, get familiar with character sheet. You know, you can see skill points gifted, employment history. We're going to stick with the Republic Military School for just now, but if you join a corporation or anything like that, then your history will change. Right, getting a little bit too deep into skills. This is not a small game when it comes to skills, and will take a while. So, engineering, power grid management, capacitor, CPU, fleet support, again, mostly under paywall. You do have leadership, gunnery, all your different guns. So you have, energy turrets, procure weapons, Voltron, capsule hybrid turrets, doomsday weapon, small beam lasers, large blasters. So this is where most of your cannons are going to be found. You obviously have missiles and explosives, so cruise missiles, rockets. Navigation. This lot here is mostly for capital jump drives. It would take way too long to get into them. And again, I'm not a mega in this account. At least not with my own money. Not at the moment. Neural enhancements. This is one we were on a bit earlier on. So you will be able to get benefits from these for plugins and what do you call them again? Cerebral boosters, basically. It will give you like +10 on all your attributes for a duration of time. However, if these are increased, what am I looking for? Is it advanced infomorph? No, advanced infomorph gives you the jump clone. So these are basically for the neurological side of your clone. Planetary interaction we will not be able to do at the moment until we omega the account, but there is a planetary industry section. Same with production, we will only be able to do basic industry, and when I say basic industry, I mean basic industry under an omega account. You can only do, I think it's up to 4 blueprints at a time, but we'll cover that in the tutorial and we'll get into that a bit later on as we play the game. Resourcing, lots of resource stuff, different ores, different skills. Everything in EVE as a skill takes time. Obviously, tailor it to how you want to play the game, which is why I would personally keep the 1,000 skill points and wait the hour, because that 1,000 skill points could be handy for a skill that you might want to use, but again, you tailor this game to yourself. Rigging is for rigs, which this ship doesn't have, but I can show you, because EVE allows you to look through any of the ships that are available. So again, this is a fitting window. So we have our high slots, our mid slots, our low slots, and this is our rigs. And again, as you've seen in the tutorial, you can see the skills that are required to fly the ship. Now that is just the ship. That's just the hull. That is not the fit. So you can see training time 9 months 6 days for Alpha, 4 months 18 days for Omega. Omega clone state is required to fly this fit. I don't know why it says fit, because it's a ship. The fit is what goes on to the ship. Same as usual, you know, offense, defense, targeting, so on and so forth. So let's continue on, because there's still a lot of things that we're locked out of at the moment. Yep. So now we have the skill, we can turn it on. And better yet, I'm going to add another one. I do not want to close the fitting window right now. I want to make sure I've got double mining. So I can't right click, but I can press show information. And the attributes for this: CPU penalty, mining amount bonus is 3%, so it's a 6% bonus. Let's go and let's go fly a ship. Ooh, opportunities interface. There it is here. So, as I was saying earlier on, this is where you can find all sorts of things to keep you entertained. So other tags, we have combat, cosmic signature, deep space sites, fleet, hacking, hauling, logistics, travel, trading, salvage, mining, manufacturing, and people will post these up. The career path, obviously, the enforcer, we've already seen these. You get skill plans to follow these if you want to do that. Features, obviously we're going to do introduction, which means we have 2 opportunities. So you can select this button to begin part 2. So you will hear that every time a skill is completed. Where are we? So we've got an introduction to mining, trading, navigation between solar systems, running missions, and building your e-career. So we accept it. And that is very true. Do not take what she just said lightly. And as she said that, you'll notice that we have some new information come up. We have 2 chat windows. I'm just going to be cheeky. Now, if I double click here, the chat window will close down like that, and so will most of the other windows. Local. Now, this one is really important. I'm going to clean up some of this information here. You get little icons across the top here that I can close, or you can shrink them down like this. The rest of these icons will come out or should appear shortly, as we're still going through the tutorial at the moment, but you will get Capsular Day, Warpath. These are timed missions essentially, events and things like that. Obviously Doomsday powered, we won't be able to do that one. There's quite a few of these we will not be able to do. No destination selected. And the sun icon is just the solar system and station that you're in. They can split the windows up just by clicking and dragging, or by the reverse. So I myself like to have Corp Chat up here. It should snap there. If I click on this little icon here, I normally do show compact. There's still some options missing. Yeah, still some options missing for the moment. So all I done is members, show compact, so I just see names in the message, no portrait. It just keeps it nice and simple, and then I can click this like that and hide it up there. So that's Corp Chat, and it will flash when someone texts in it. However, local is the same story. What I normally do is just click on this, go compact. I think I missed it. There we go. And message portal, no portal. And then local is really good for keeping an eye on who is in this space. So I normally pop it just over here and drag it down. So all of this layout will change over time, and will change when I undock as well. And there's a notification history down in the bottom corner. You can see where we were killed. Just going to take that and drag it right into the corner if it'll let me. There we go. So let's continue on with the tutorial and undock and go and mine some stuff. So you'll see our two modules at the bottom here. I am going to very quickly jump into settings, audio. I'm going to turn music down a bit, and word volume's already down, and bring the master volume down a little bit as well, and return to game. Yep, we will get there in a minute. So we have our overview, which is fully customizable, and as I was on about in station, we now have all the icons, so we can shut off quite a lot of stuff. We don't need the route, we don't want capsular day, opportunities, we'll keep that running for the moment. So warp to site. And you notice we have some extra icons and things down here as well. That's good. We'll go through them in a second. So you can fly any way you want to fly. You can fly third person. You can also fly first person. I haven't figured this one out. I tend not to fly like that. I'll let it settle down once you get there. It dropped me out of first person there. So they're trying to steal the mining. They want to steal the mine. I'm not too sure yet. Okay, so so one asteroid. Now we have more of the UI together. You can do it through the selected item. But now that we're actually closer to full game capability, what I tend to normally do is just right click, orbit, we'll say 500. That should get me orbiting. And then if you right now they've shut up for a minute. Someone please throw him out of spaceport. So it's telling you to click up here, which you can do, or you can use control. However, there is another way. If you go into your overview, you can left click and hold, and then just pull down, which is most likely the quickest way of locking onto something. You can also do the left click. So your inventory is we will get adventure. I'm going to put my warp drive. Well, it's not a warp drive. It's an afterburner. Let's get us there a little bit quicker. Now the game told you to stop. Don't ever sit still in a minefield or a mining field. Tend to enjoy orbiting things. So should be close enough now. And then start mining. Wah, wah. So again, all I'm doing is instead of using my overview, I'm just left clicking and I can orbit at 1000 here. I'm going to put this into compact mode because it allows me to shrink it down. Makes things a little easier. I'll change all this very shortly because you can enable compact mode from so if you select this little icon here, you can move it. It's just an anchor. Mining rocks. So you can see who's all in the system. 25 people. This comes in really handy when you're in corporation because as you can see, we're all in the same corporation. So if anybody outside the corporation comes in, you will see. What is it? It looks like a ship. Let's go see what we get. So down here in the little burger, I'm just going to click on it and select this. I don't want to see passive modules. Cleans this up just a little bit. A Dremel black box. Okie dokie. So again, selecting dock by left click, hold, and then selecting the radial menu. If you could see the station from here, you could do the same thing here in actual space as well. So down here, I'm going to click on this tactical cam, which gives me this. So I can now see how far away ships, rocks, and stuff is. This is a view I prefer flying in. Easier, as you see stations coming in. We're about 30k off the station. So we should dock. And that is basic mining. So let's go and claim some ISK. And there we go. Next. Of course. So we're just selling it. Right click, sell this item. You will get some basic information. Again, if you right click, show info, you can view the market details, which is good if you want to get the best price for things. You can create a contract for private sales or transactions, swapping things, or you know. You can find it in the contracts. There's a lot of contracts. We'll cover that shortly. I don't think the tutorial does that. Finding personal assets. Again, we talked about personal assets earlier on. Very, very handy, especially when you get deeper into the game and you have stuff just everywhere. But for the moment, right click, sell this item, sell. Why, thank you. I think you're being cheeky. That was pennies. Especially when I go and look at ships. Open your wallet to view your ISK. Overview. Plex is more in-game currency, essentially. Like premium in-game currency if you want. Costs a fortune, and you can buy Plex with real money, but you can't trade the opposite way. Ooh, 28,000 in total. Whoa, I am stunned. Yep, you get taxed on stuff. Just like real life. 3, 4.
Enforcers work for New Eden's factions, fighting off pirates and other threats. Explorers investigate the cluster's hidden corners, hacking systems and uncovering secrets. Soldiers of fortune band together to fight other capsuleers in the lawless reaches beyond high-security space. Industrialists turn a profit by harvesting the materials and building the machines that make life in space possible.
Choose the path you want to explore first. Your choice won't limit you, and you can explore as many different paths as you like.
At any time you like as well, which is what makes Eve such a good game. And such a big game. So, say you wanted to start as a soldier of fortune going around PvP stuff, that's cool. You would obviously.
Major factions that rule New Eden have established career agents. Complete missions from them to earn new skills, modules, airsuit, and even ships, making them both lucrative and educational. Track the goal of completing a mission for the career agent to add it to your info panel.
So,
Choose the path you want to explore first. The major factions that rule New Eden have established career agents. Complete missions from them to earn new skills, modules, airsuit, and even ships, making them both lucrative and educational. Track the goal of completing a mission for the career agent to add it to your info panel.
so track.
Follow this link to the agency window, where you can locate your nearest career agent. No matter what path you choose, you will find a career agent who can help you walk it. Once you've chosen an agent, set your destination.
Which you can do.
The ACP in order to proceed.
And then you.
Captain, thank you.
And then you can leave and go and do agent missions. There is no agents in here, as this is the air. These are other people in the station. I am going to just quickly check that I'm not going to leave anything. Okay. So at this point we are pretty much now free to do whatever we want. Just gonna quickly check my skills. 51 minutes before repair systems. And just trying to think. So Minotaur is in arm. Nope, sorry, lies shield. So I'm going to stick on shield management, which will add it onto here. I'm going to put. So we need 266,000 to buy that skill. You can also right click, find in contracts, or view on market. So we have a look on market. I don't know if market is crashed or if it just doesn't have any data for it. Oh, it came up when I left. So view market details, here we go. So we can get it for 150 and its costs 266, so it's cheaper getting it on the market. End station. Do we have enough ISK for it? We do. I will do that. Yes. So now, just going to jump into my inventory. should be here. So what I'm gonna drop my graphics a little. I'm not sure if it's interfering with the stream. Where am I? Just gonna optimize graphics for performance. Now drop a lot of things like lighting and shadows and effects, and I don't really miss them. This has gone back to very basic. So in my hangar I have nothing. Personal assets. There we go. So I didn't click this station, I clicked another one. So, just going to close down my inventory and undock. And we're going to go and set destination to there. Close this one down. And you'll see over here in the overview, there we go. In your overview, you should light up gold. Just left click, hold, and dock. So I'm just going to lock the window size and position up there, because I tend to put my overview over the top of that, and then lock my overview. Always pick the right time to do these things. So now we're in the right station. We're in a miniature station now. It's pretty cool. I like this. So if I go to my inventory, in my hangar, I have Yam Shield, and all I'm going to do is right click and inject skill. And now the skill's injected, I can go back to my skills. I can go to shields and that should have worked. Don't know why it's asking me for another 70 something. That was a bit cheeky. I've never had that happen before. That's new. Shield operations. There we go. So that's a little bit confusing. I don't know why I had to do this one before them, but that happened. So I'm going to call it day one. So flying about is quite dangerous. Keep your eye on your local. So I'll quickly, before we go, I'm just going to quickly set this up to the way that I'm used to it. So I have a custom overview, which I should be able to open overview settings. So in the overview settings is where you can customize and tailor your overview to whatever you want. As I already have my own one, I can import my own settings and use my own custom overview, which I'm just going to import. And now I have my own custom overview, which I will pop there. Just going to shrink it down a little and then lock that. Actually, unlock that window a minute. Just going to pull it down just a wee bit. Lock that window in there. And then close down the overview settings. Now, you'll see, here we go. We can see we have some other people coming in now that are not part of the corporation. So I can now right click, show information. And I can see that this is some new players. So he's only been playing for a day, but don't be fooled. Veteran players will start new characters just to scope out new talent or have a bit of fun. Let's have a look at this other character. 21 days. So always have a look at the employment history. 21 days. So here we go. Been playing for just over a month. Let's have a look at one of our corp members. For 2 days. So one other thing, if you go down to this little scanner, we'll go more in depth into this at the moment, but I'm just setting up my UI the way that I like it for basic flying around. So scanners, what to do? Probe scan, and I'm just going to do floating window, and then over here, just click that, and that separates probe scan. And this is a scanning window or scanning map for when you're trying to scan things down. We'll get to that later, but I take my probe scan and I put my probe scan up here. So probe scan will show you all the sites and things that are available in the system that you're in, and I just like to be able to jump across and across. I also like to remove this gates tab, and I stick my gates tab down here. Now the reason I do this is so that I can always have access to the gates. Just going to enable compact mode. So I operate with compact mode on all the time, and if I'm honest, what I'm going to quickly do is go into settings, go user interface, all the way down, enable compact mode by default. And I also like to turn this down to small. Obviously tailor it to yourself, but this is how I set up mine. And the reason I have it this way is, for example, if I want to go mining, I still have my gates and things down the bottom, which is easy to access. Now, you can easily pull this out. You'll notice there's no chatter in here. Very, very seldomly you'll get chatter in local unless you're winding people up or trying to have a laugh. So we have a minefield. An asteroid belt 2. This isn't set up right for me because it just says asteroid, asteroid, asteroid. However, if you right click on type or distance, you will get this menu, and in this menu you can change it, and I like to see the name and remove the type. And then what I can do is organize it by name, and then I can pick out what particular rock I would like. For example, Varspar grade 3. Gives you 140 units, whereas Varspar grade 2 gives you 420 units. So you'd most likely want to be picking out the 3, and the same goes for Scordite, or however you say that. So 165 units of Terranium and 119 units of Pyrite for the 3, but if you go to the 2, you get 150 and 114. So save yourself a bit of time and obviously go for the rocks. Ooh, they look quite nice. I like that. It's a pretty rock. It's a favorite rock. So yeah, picking out the ones that yield more is good practice, I suppose. But if you are in a situation where you have a corporation and you're doing industry, you might all get together, organize a day, and just clean the entire minefield. Will take a couple of hours to do something like that. There's like a couple of rocks on here. Good what? 60, 70 maybe. But yeah, you can just mine that and that'll be that. Well, this is how I set mine out. So I've got enemies, got loot if there's any. I have all, and then planets. Planets you can't, unfortunately at the moment I won't be able to do anything, but you will be able to view planetary industry. And you have a planet. Obviously it's locked out. You pop down a command center and you can start using the resources from that planet. So with that, I am going to log off and go and attend to one of my other accounts. So, hope you enjoyed it. This was the start and introduction and tutorial for Eve, and it is only the beginning. We've done some very basic stuff, followed the tutorial, we have our first ship, we've done a little bit of mining, we had a nosy through some of the UI, the Neocom, we looked at the character sheet, we also had a look at the skill plans. So you see I've got 2 days worth of skills training now, which will train when I'm offline as well. We've seen about ISK, and we haven't got to an agency yet, but we'll get to one in the next video if you join me for that. Until then, Neocom and yeah, I'm going to log out and say goodbye. Have fun.